So happy to have you here this afternoon, and she's nominated in the World Field Athlete of the Year this evening's awards, the World Athletics Awards. And yeah, we're very happy to have you here this morning. And yeah, let's maybe talk about your year, just you reflecting on that. You won indoors, you won outdoors, and you won Diamond League. When you reflect, what are your thoughts on this year?
Yeah, I hear the list of results, and it almost feels like it didn't happen in a way. Every competition I was enjoying, and building up towards the big outdoors. So it was, I think, a really beautiful thing to aim for this year of having the World Championships last, because you could celebrate on the day, but you were always focused on the big vision ahead. So when Tokyo was finished, it was a great celebration. But from the history, usually we come after an Olympics or World Championships, we're then back into competition. So in a way, I feel like I need to get back into competition. So it's been a beautiful year, but I've also found myself even more excited for the future.
And what did you get up to afterwards? How do you sort of, after such a big year that you had, just decompress and just before you prepare? Because I know you're already back in training, but how do you prepare for the season ahead in your off season?
So I usually have 1 month of complete break, and that gives me time not just physically for my body to go back to like factory settings, back to normal, but to mentally process everything that was happening and also the goals for the future. And I find in that rest time as well, I can do all the things that I couldn't do in the season. For example, I love going on long walks, and we have some beautiful national parks in Australia. But with my training, most high jumpers don't walk a lot. That's just something we do. So everything that I feel drawn to during the season that I wish that I could do, bake a cheesecake, paint my skirting boards, all of these little things we do in the off season and this month. And then I feel like after I've ticked all of those things off my list, that I'm ready, and I've got a clear head for, all right, we're going back into training and we're going for another 12 months now.
I want to talk to you about the Diamond League final this year, where 4 of you guys jumped over 2, and just how was it in that moment for you to be cheering each other on? Because I saw like there's a camaraderie within the high jump girls. How was it like?
When I started in the Diamond League circuit, I wasn't the best jumper, but I remember when I was there, I wanted to create a culture where I'm the biggest supporter of the girls that I'm competing with. And that was usually spent with just me cheering on the jumpers long after I'd finished. I'd just stay in support and watch them. And that was in 2019. And year after year, I've just seen everyone else sort of taking that mentality on board of wanting to support each other. So the athletes that have cheered me when I jumped 2 meters, I could be right there supporting them. It was something of a dream for me to see this culture transformed where we actually love the people we're jumping with. We don't see them as barriers to success. We see them as people to enjoy the journey with, friends to try and beat that bar. So yeah, it was really special to be out there to compete with them and see. I feel high jumps now getting into this new era where there is a potential that 10 women could be jumping 2 meters within a season, and anybody can win. And that makes it exciting.
On your website, you mentioned that from the age of 8 years old, you were introduced to high jump, and one of the things you wanted to achieve is you wanted to be an Olympic athlete, and then you also wanted to jump consistently 2 meters. Box ticked?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that when you see that, knowing that you've now jumped your personal best of 204? Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, as an 8-year-old, I thought 2 meters was a wild dream that, you know, I was putting the bar literally as high as I thought was physically possible. Um, but at 8 years old as well, I was having that dream deep down because I thought that once I got to that level, I would finally feel like I was living a life of purpose and I was doing everything, um, was feeling like I was contributing to the world. And I got to 20 years of age and realized that I couldn't keep doing that dream. My personal best was 188 at that stage, and I didn't want to do sport anymore. I felt like that I was always trying to chase the goal and that dream so that I could have purpose. But I realized that no high jump bar would ever fill that inside of my heart. And so I decided to just give up that dream. And, you know, I just had a simple prayer and I said, God, I'm just giving this dream into your hands. I can't do it anymore. Like, I can't wait to feel like I have purpose in my life. And I felt like he gave me his dream for my life, which was a lot bigger. And I went back into sport, not to try and earn those dreams, but just try and reach the people around me and change that culture. And doing that, I've surpassed every dream that I've set for myself. And every day I wake up with purpose. So I suppose those boxes were ticked when I actually gave those boxes up. And now, even when people ask me what's next, I'm like, well, the purpose is still the same, but the potential is so much greater than I ever thought.
Do we have any questions for Nicola in the room, perhaps? John?
Just talk. High jump and I think any vertical jump can be difficult mentally because, you know, there's failures involved and it can really have an impact on the psychological side. You seem such a positive person, both on track and off track. Do you find that something that helps when it comes to an event like yours? That, you know, even when you do have a failure, you approach it still with such positivity and...
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that identity piece of knowing that if the high jump bar falls off, my value doesn't fall, was something I always associated whatever the high jump bar personal best was how successful and how valuable I was as a person, as a teenager, as a young adult. And when I finally got that realization of, if this bar falls off, it's okay. All of a sudden that high jump bar, it became a great challenge, a great opportunity to push the limits and to test myself rather than be measured by it. So, and I'm hoping, you know, when I see young jumpers, especially in the school system, when they get so emotional based on if the bar stays on or not, I think a lot of us, in order to be, you know, that positive influence and role model, it comes from that separation of this sport doesn't define me, but I love it, and I'm able to do this. And every time I hit off the bar, it reveals to me another area to work on, so I can keep getting better.
And do you find that also extends into like what drives you, in the sense that you don't seem to be someone who's driven by just pure numbers, like going for records? It's more the occasion and, you know, kind of winning gold medals and things. Would you say that that's true?
Yeah, so, the medals are just like different coloured sprinkles on top of the cake. You know, they're not the cake.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of gold sprinkles. I had a lot of silver sprinkles, and now I've got some gold as well this year. You know, it's completely. It's let's say a critical performance part of my mind. I love those heights and things, but that's such a small part of the mind compared to the person of who I am outside of that. And I always have to sort of keep it back in that box and not let that take over my whole life. Otherwise, that joy isn't there anymore.
Just one last one, just going back to what you were saying about when you reached that point where, you know, you weren't sure if you were going to continue in high jump. Had you stopped with the high jump at that point, what do you feel you may have, which kind of career do you feel you may have kind of gone on to?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I was doing biochemistry in university, So I was hoping to be a dietitian or something like that. But when I came to that realization point, again at 20 years of age, my mind was thinking maybe I would do some sort of mission work or even within ministry, doing that full time. But then, you know, when I prayed, I felt like God was saying, no, the sports field is your mission field. You don't have to travel to a third world country. You can reach people at the very top of this sport.
Thank you.
Sean's got a question.
Oh yeah, Sean from The Guardian. And one serious, one slightly frivolous question. I'll start with the frivolous one first. Obviously, a lot has been made about your notebook and notebooks. I went and deep dived during the World Champs to find out which brand it was, and I couldn't find it. Some people have suggested it's a Lectern 1917. If so, can you say what it is, and are you sponsored? And if not, why not? That's my frivolous question.
So it's a Moleskine, and I have reached out to Moleskine, and they say that they don't want to support athletes. So if you guys want, they want to have artists, but if you guys want to help me get a sponsorship, my manager Daniel's downstairs. We can all make this work. That athletes are a sport and an art form in itself. So that would be good. I'm very faithful to their brand because I like the layout of it, but we got work to do with it.
And it's pretty waterproof as well when you're on the European circuit. It's pretty waterproof, I think.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've got the journal in the building. It's the rain. It patted down the pages, but the substance still stayed in the book. So yeah, it's a good book.
And on that note, more seriously, when you're asked, I'm sure you are, about goal setting and targets by younger athletes or even people, what do you sort of tell them about the process, I guess, of journaling and goal setting? Obviously, you mentioned earlier about trusting God as well, but more broadly, what else do you also say?
Yeah, well, goal setting I think is it has to be quite consistent. If you do a very big goal but you don't have any stepping stones to it, you can feel very overwhelmed on a bad day. And for example, when my sports psych and I were saying, you know, what if you were to aim for a world record? Where on the days when you're only jumping 1 meter 90 and you're 20 centimeters away from it, it can feel really big. So goal setting, I think, is important. Definitely to have those little stepping stones, and if you don't reach those goals, don't punish yourself for it. I think a lot of people attach rewards to getting a goal, but the reward for me is pursuing the goal rather than actually on the other side of it. Like when I held that gold medal, it wasn't this amazing sense of you've done it. It was like, oh, really, it's done. Like I actually loved the whole pursuit of it. So I would say that's a really important thing of learning to love the process, but realizing the reward isn't going to be reaching the goal. It's going to be the person of who you've become in pursuing the goal.
One question on Tokyo itself. You returned after winning silver at the Olympics, and then again winning gold now. But how was the journey like, just going back to a country that's special to you?
Yeah. Tokyo Stadium's had some great pinnacle moments for me. So when I went back there, because I'd spent so much anticipation and so many dreams around Tokyo for the Olympics, we had an extra year to do that with the pandemic as well. So I grew quite attached to the place of Tokyo and realizing things that I was doing there, the impact it can make, as well for my own nation, because we're in a similar time zone so people can watch live. All of that came flooding back as soon as I landed in Tokyo for the World Championships. So it felt like, in a way, the Olympics had been the best preparation for that, because I knew the track, I knew exactly the route to get there, but this time I had a full stadium and all of these dear people in my life to experience it with me.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Jess.
Hi, I just wanted to ask about goals for 2026. And you spoke about the gold sprinkles and the silver sprinkles that you've already achieved. Next year we have a new event, the Ultimate Championship, which offers a new challenge, and I just wondered if I could ask you about that and your ambitions for maybe achieving a medal that no other high jumper has yet claimed.
It's The Ultimate Championships is like this brand new thing. It's hard to, you know, when we have categories of what you're aiming for and you've grown up with that, now we have a new category. So it's exciting. I think the goal would definitely, I want to jump high. That's always a place. And because we have the Diamond League final the week before, it's a really great opportunity that once you're in your best form, you can hold it for a week. 2 weeks later, it's a little bit harder, but 1 week you can do it. So it would be a dream of mine if I could do like 2 personal bests in 2 weeks, one at the Diamond League final, then one at the Ultimate Championship.
Great insight. One more question.
Yes. Yeah, thank you. You said that sports doesn't define you, but what do you understand about yourself while jumping that you don't understand elsewhere?
I find that high jump is an instrument that is shaping me to be the person of who I've been born to be. So the height of the bar doesn't define me, but nothing else requires so much effort, like diet, sleep, mindset, like everything in your life can determine whether or not you get over that bar. And so because it's so, let's say so intense upon me, it actually, under that pressure, something beautiful appears. And I think it really does also help with my faith in God, because I feel so close to Him when I'm jumping, because there's nowhere else in the world am I doing an activity where 1 billion people could watch me. But high jump gives me that opportunity, and the pressure actually reveals where my foundation is. And yeah, everything else seems a bit more relaxed and casual compared to high jump.
Thank you very much, Nicola, for joining us. That was amazing. Good luck tonight and have fun, and we will see you at the red carpet.